Hey everyone on my channel. If you see the background of my shorts, it is no surprise that I collect Monster High, since you see them peeking in the background of my videos. I want to remain the main focus of this video is to point out the disability-coded Monster High is compared to Barbie failed to give me as a kid. Before I start, where I will go off on a side rant of how G1 fans are ridiculously hardcore on G3 and missing the message of Monster High is to be who you are. The first character I will focus on being disability coded is Gulia Yelps, and I bet no one is surprised me using her as an example because in G1 it's there. I have autism spectrum disorder, and adult me is super emotional by almost crying reading her diaries. Her complaint about how hard it is to keep up with everyone speed-wise, and how she is super smart but struggles to communicate. Little autistic me needed Gulia, because I related to the frustration of trying to communicate and not finding the right words. I also relate with being slow, which I know Gulia means walking, but I relate with not being able to learn faster than my other peers, but I still love to learn the things that I'm interested in. G3 Gulia's anxiety is relatable to anyone without being disabled. Being disabled, I will note, not sure if any other autistics get this, but I get nerves to the point where my hands will flare around and I will have no control over it. It could be super frustrating, and I will note Gulia not being able to talk is very familiar to my autistic experience, where if I had a verbal shutdown, I cannot speak no matter how much I want to. Later on, I will go on a rant about how I feel about both dolls of G1 and G3. I like G1 Gulia because some on the autism spectrum cannot speak and will groan like Gulia. I feel like they took away that rep from them. Side rant aside, my favorite ghoul is Abby, who I highly related to. Reading her diary again made me cry. Little me was super frustrated, never understanding the other kids' language and sarcasm. Reading Abby's struggle to understand her paraphrasing made her come off as rude is definitely my experience growing up as a kid. She seeked out Frankie to help her understand the language of the other monsters, which my brother was there to help me understand. My experience with autism is I don't pick up on social cues or understand if someone is faking being my friend. Growing up, I got frustrated with myself never picking up social cues like others. This one shouldn't be a shock. Frankie is another one I relate with, and I will note G1 pronouns is she, her, G3 is they, them. I had some fans misgender them when I was selling G3. Lovely. Sarcasm. But this aside, Frankie is always curious and not understanding the world around her. Same here. Little autistic me never understood why people do the things because my brain is wired differently. Her having electric bolts when feeling overwhelmed is a perfect way to explain someone overstimulation works with autism. And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the Gen 2 dolls, but I love the movie where Frankie was literally overstimulated with her own bolts and had to flap her hands to stop being overstimulated. This is very relatable to someone with autism. If I hear too many sounds or have too many smells or lights coming at me, I have to rock myself or flap my hands to calm down. Mostly just have some soft plushies to help me in public without drawing attention. A lot of people are not educated on autism, and it shows on the internet in real life. I'm looking at you autistic moms. Just kidding. I know some parents online who actually listen to their autistic child and don't use their mental meltdowns for clout. I applaud you. And this is not surprising considering G3 confirmed Twilight as autistic, which she always was in Gen 1 and Gen 3 in my opinion. No one cannot convince me otherwise. Here, I will explain based on her hiding in the shadows, not wanting to be around many crowds. It's very relatable to me. My autism experience is my reason I hate crowds. People are rude and always bump into me, which doesn't help my meltdowns. I will make it clear, never touch an autistic person when they are having a meltdown. It does not help. But back to my rant. I hate crowds due to way too many sounds, and my brains feel like it's scanning everyone's face, and it is way too much information for my brain. This is why I rather avoid crowds at all costs. This is why during the pandemic I didn't mind masks, because it saved my brain from scanning people's faces. And the main reason why I keep repeating my experience is because autism is a spectrum. So many are not going to have the same experience as other female autistics. And this is why Monster High is super important to me, because if you look up female autistic creators, they will tell you they get backlash, as I do. We are faking our autism. I wish it was the case because it would be easier for me to function in stores and easier for me to get a job. I was diagnosed at 13, and my mom had to fight with my therapist to get my diagnosis. Her funny example is my daughter is spinning. She definitely has autism. To be honest, she isn't wrong, because spinning is one of our stems to distress from the loud world. By the way, people without autism, stimming is something we all do. This is not special to autism. It's another fancy word for fidgeting. But having autistic coded rep was something little me needed because I felt alone. And I heard a lot growing up. Autism was very rare in girls. This is why Monster High is super special to me, because it is healing. Something Barbie didn't have the message of is being yourself, even if you look different. Is the whole message of it's okay to be who you are, which is something a lot of little autistic girls get discouraged to do, leading them to mask all their autistic traits. Anytime I feel down from an ableist comment online or in real life, I look at my Monster High dolls to remind me it is okay to be yourself. It helps me escape the ableist world that wants me to change, while Monster High makes me feel like I belong here. Side note, ableist is someone who hates a person with a disability. A lot of people will hide it, saying phrases, "You're faking your autism," or my favorite, "You don't look autistic." Thanks, Karen. I didn't know my autism had a look. But back to my main point. Monster High did an amazing job showcasing disabilities, including having a merman doll in a wheelchair, which is something Barbie didn't have in the 2000s. I love the Monster High message of being who you are and not being scared to dress how you want either. Why mother reviews of the doll really get on my nerves, because it is just a reminder how much people hate anything being different. And how do you think this makes disabled children feel? It just halts my insecurity of I am different, therefore there's something wrong with me. I want these Karen parents to reflect on how this makes a child with a disability feel. Finally, I just want to say thank you to Garrett Sander and Lily for making a diverse doll line, which many of us honestly didn't get in the early 2000s. Monster High was a blessing for all us kids with disabilities. In my opinion, Gen 3 is doing a great job of the OG message for Monster High, keeping it alive, and they're able to do more considering it's no longer 2000. I'm happy to see we're finally getting an autistic doll that is female, because growing up, I was honestly taught to believe autism were more common in boys. So thank you, Gen 3 Monster High, and I love what you are doing with the brand. Please don't be afraid to go dark, and let's make the Karen moms mad, and let little kids know it's okay to be yourself no matter what color you want to dress in. Thank you all for staying through this long video. Monster High means a lot to me. This is why I love the dolls, because it helps me realize, after hearing a lot of ableist comments through my line in retail, I belong here. And anyone who has a disability, you belong here. Be yourself, be unique, be a monster. Bye.